What is up, guys? Welcome back. I'm Kevin Crates. This is the channel where we go over to crypto news followed by 5 charts every day. Today we're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Alice, SNX, and AXS. And as always, if you're just here for a specific chart, timestamps are down in the description below. Make sure that subscribe button and turn that bell on to catch notifications for all daily uploads. Bit of a stagnant 24 hours in the crypto markets, guys, as Bitcoin continues to battle to try to claim that 35K resistance level, but continues to slide back down to that 34K range. And Ethereum with a similar struggle, trying to claim that 2200 resistance level, but continues to slide back down to the 2100 range. However, both of them hanging on to a lot of these price action gains we've seen over the last couple of days. But if Bitcoin and Ethereum don't start to show more strength soon, I would not be surprised to see prices start to trend back down. A few standouts in the top 100 overview today. We have Theta up around 14% today, up around almost 40% this week. We also have AMP up around 22% today, up around 40% as well this week. We also have T-Fuel pumping with Theta today, up around 12%. And we also have Quant up again today, up nearly 15% today, up nearly 35% this week. Quant is such an interesting project. We're definitely going to be doing a deep dive into it soon. We see it on the gainers list so much in spite of whatever is going on in the market. We also have ZIL up around 15% today and up nearly 20% this week. I haven't seen ZIL on the gainers list in quite some time, so that is interesting to see. Overall, the market is looking decent today, but it really all depends on Bitcoin as it hangs on to these gains. If we don't see more strength from it soon, I would not be surprised to see the market start to trend back down. But as far as today goes, the market is looking decent and there are a lot of opportunities out there. And before we jump into today's news, I just wanted to shout out DPET. If you're not following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_ on Twitter. I've been talking about DPET since it was around $2. I tweeted about it again yesterday when it was $6.50, saying that DPET is looking ready to pop off. We see it this morning pushing highs of around $10.80. I am so bullish on this project, not to mention NFT projects as a whole. We're going to be doing a deep dive into DPET soon, so make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and turn that bell on so you don't miss that notification when it drops. But overall, as far as NFT games goes, this just shows some of the potential. We've seen it with Skill, we see it with DPET, and we see it with AXS. There is so much potential as far as NFT games go. So if you're new here or you haven't been exposed to DPET yet, I just want to throw it on your radar because we see it flying today, and I don't think DPET is done as far as the coming weeks go. Looking at today's news, we have Ethereum making headlines. Ethereum London upgrade could be delayed only for this reason. So we touched on these headlines a little bit yesterday since we've seen a few articles now talking about the possibility of the Ethereum London hard fork being delayed. I've done a lot of research in the last 24 hours trying to find out if there is any validity to these statements. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure most of them are just clickbait headlines. This article goes on to say, however, given the history of delays with each leg toward implementation, developers have assured that the launch of the London hard fork will be on schedule. The article quotes developer Tim Byko saying, "The only cause that could lead to the delay would be security concerns. However, until now, the team did not have any such concerns, and the London upgrade will be activated on the Ethereum mainnet between August 3rd to 5th. So I just wanted to touch on this again because we have seen a few articles in the last 24 hours saying that the Ethereum London hard fork has been delayed due to security concerns, but we also don't see too many articles about it, and some of these articles also say that they're just possible concerns. So as far as it goes, I'm just going to assume that the Ethereum London hard fork is still on schedule for around the 3rd to 5th of August, but that could change if there are any security concerns as far as the hard fork goes. But for the time being, it seems that the London hard fork is going to be on schedule. We have Litecoin making headlines. Litecoin whales quickly add $30 million in Litecoin amid decline in value. In a new report, Sentiment says that Litecoin whales have increased their holdings by roughly 270,000 Litecoin, or about $30 million since the beginning of July. And this was an interesting article to see because as far as the current state of the market goes, we're all so focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum's price action, not to mention a whole host of other altcoins. Everyone seems to kind of forget what Litecoin is. Litecoin is one of the top cryptocurrencies. As far as accessibility to purchase goes, a lot of these altcoins are not as easily accessible for most people to purchase. However, anywhere that offers access to cryptocurrency almost unanimously offers Litecoin. So this article is just a reminder that Litecoin is a massive part of the crypto space and whales are not ignoring that. And as the crypto space starts to climb back up as far as market cap goes, Litecoin is most likely going to be climbing right back up with it. We have Uniswap in the news. Uniswap removes 129 tokens from its platform. The decentralized exchange announced 2 days back that they removed 129 tokens from their platform. Those tokens could face the same problem that XRP is facing right now. Yes, the global regulators were likely to call these tokens securities, which could have Uniswap into trouble and also the tokens. Users can still use the token contract to access these tokens and swap them, but they are still not happy. According to the exchange, the reason they did so was a low trading volume of these tokens. And here is a list of the tokens behind me. A lot of these are actually derivatives of Tether as well as synthetics. And as far as this story goes, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because Uniswap is starting to get viewed in a negative light for a multitude of reasons. However, I do understand that this is just part of the changing landscape as regulatory pressure comes into the crypto space. And since we're on the topic, I just want to remind you all, the SEC July 28th deadline for crypto regulations is just 3 days away now. So it will be interesting to see if any other platforms make moves like Uniswap, but at the end of the day, it's important to remember that regulations are going to affect the crypto landscape. Looking at Bitcoin's daily chart, let's zoom in here. Before we even turn our notes on, you can see here the 50 EMA is giving Bitcoin a bit of downward pressure, these long wicks, but it is still pushing up and things don't look that bad. Stochastic RSI is high. Let's turn our notes on. We talked about this yesterday. It's got to claim that 35K price range. If it can claim that 35K price range, it's got the opportunity to push for 38K. But if we jump to the 4-hour chart, I just want to point a few things out to you guys. Looking at the 4-hour chart, let me zoom out and move it over so it's nice and clear for you all. The stochastic RSI is bouncing off support, and this is a decent setup. Baseline, conversion line, lagging span, everything is nice and far apart. The Kumo cloud is way down here. If we jump over to the 3-hour, we also see a similar story. Stochastic RSI, nice and low. Everything is nice and far apart, but as we lower these time frames down to the 1 hour, you see everything is starting to get squeezed together, and that is not the best sign. Not to mention the stochastic RSI over here is potentially even running into resistance. So as far as price action goes, if we go back to the daily chart here, as far as Bitcoin goes, it's at a fork in the road here as well as the entire market. Either Bitcoin is going to be able to claim that 35K resistance and make a push for 38K, or prices are going to start to trend back down and I start to watch the 32K support level. What is driving this push is the real question, and it may be the Ethereum hard fork. And in the next few days, if we start to see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin, that is a possible catalyst that's pulling the market up. But other than that, I can't figure out what would be making Bitcoin push like this, other than maybe the Elon statements a few days ago. But overall, we're starting to see Bitcoin lose a bit of steam. And as far as price targets go, it's the 35K price target that it's got to claim. And if it doesn't do that soon, I would not be too surprised to see Bitcoin lose a bit of steam and start to trend back down towards 32.7K to start, and then 32.1K would be a support level that I would be watching as far as a pullback goes. So price targets for Bitcoin, 35K resistance is a must. It's got to claim that and claim it soon. If not, I'd start watching for a pullback towards 32.7 and then 32.1K. Looking at Ethereum's daily chart, let's zoom in here, turn on our notes on from before. We're not going to spend too much time talking about Ethereum because it looks just like Bitcoin as usual, getting pressed down by that moving average around 2200, attempting to claim it. Stochastic RSI very high on the daily. If we jump to the 4-hour, just like Bitcoin, stochastic RSI very low. However, the conversion line, baseline, and lagging span, unlike Bitcoin, is a little bit more squished together on the 4-hour. And if we jump to the 1-hour, stochastic RSI, just like Bitcoin, very high, but the lagging span, conversion line, and baseline is much more squished together. Overall, it's still not a bad setup for a push up in price. If we jump back to the 1 day, as far as price targets go, it's pretty simple. Ethereum's got to claim this 2200 to an attempt to push up to 2500, but 2200 is the major resistance at the moment for Ethereum as far as a bullish move goes. As far as pullbacks, it usually pulls back and pretty much always pulls back to this price range of around 1950 to 2000, somewhere just under 2000, which is where the 200 EMA usually is for Ethereum. So as far as price targets go, I'd be watching that. However, I would also be keeping an eye on Ethereum and Bitcoin to see if Ethereum starts to outperform Bitcoin. Can Ethereum claim 2200 before Bitcoin claims 3500? Because if that happens, then we know that this is Ethereum leading up to the hard fork pulling up the market. If not, if this is just a Bitcoin-led push, then I keep my eye on these price targets. 2200, Ethereum needs to claim that. If not, I'd look for the pullback to around 1950 to 2000. Looking at Alice's daily chart, let's zoom in here and turn on our notes. As far as price targets go, 8.5 is a major support that needs to hold. Stochastic RSI is very high on the daily. If we jump to the 4-hour chart, as far as closer pullbacks, I'd be watching around 10.2 to 8.83. But if we zoom out here back to the daily chart, you can see here if Alice can manage to get above 13.2, it pretty much has a very decent shot towards 16.5. But we also have to keep in mind, as far as price targets go, Alice tends to pump whenever AXS pumps. Same with Sand and a few other NFT plays, AXS just has that ability to raise the market cap for the NFT space. However, the fact that Alice has gotten through the Kumo cloud is very interesting, and even a pullback towards 8.5 doesn't mean it necessarily can't make a push for these higher price targets in the coming days or weeks. But as far as current price targets, I'd keep an eye out for this range of around 10.2, below that 8.83, and majorly you want to keep an eye on this 8.5 support. But if it can manage to get above 13.2, it's got a shot to about 16.5. But for the time being, I'd keep my eye on these pullback targets of around 10.2 to 8.83. Looking at SNX's daily chart, let's zoom in here. Before we turn on our notes, you can see that it's managed to maintain pressure inside the Kumo cloud. Stochastic RSI is very low, and it's trying to push up in price. As far as price targets go, you're going to want to see it get above $10 on the daily, and possibly even 12.1 on the daily as well, or maybe around 11.9, around $12 on the daily. But as far as price targets go above there, if it can manage to build support around 13.7, then it is a possibility for a push to around $15 to $18. And there's a lot going on with SNX as far as the Optimism launch goes. I would have expected that to push prices higher leading up to it as far as news goes, but as far as it affecting price right away, as more and more money rolls into the synthetics platform, I would expect to see that start to raise the price of SNX. So we jump to the 4-hour chart. Price targets are a little bit closer. If SNX can get above this price target here of just around $9 and maintain support, then it does have the possibility on the daily to make a push for around $10, and above there, $12, and make a push for these higher price targets. As far as the pullback, 7.6 is where I'm capping it. I cannot see SNX going too much lower than that. 5.4, 5.5 on the extreme end. Anything below that would shock me in terms of SNX. So price targets for the time being for SNX, it's got to get above $9, build support, and from there it has a possibility to push to above $10 and make a push for $12, and then from there it has a potential shot for $15 to $18. But for the time being, these price targets you want to keep an eye out for is it's got to get above 9.1 and build support and start pushing up from there. As far as a pullback, 7.6 would be the initial one, 5.5 on extreme crash, but I don't see that happening. So 7.6 would be the pullback target for SNX I'll keep an eye on. And as far as a push up in price, you want to see it get above $9 and build support from there. Looking at AXS's daily chart, starting to show a bit of signs of a possible reversal. It depends on how this daily candle closes. If it pushes down in price, then there may be a bit of reversal towards this $31 range, $32 range that we talked about the other day. But if we jump to the 4-hour chart, we can see a bit of a closer time frame. I wouldn't be too surprised if we do start to see a bit of a pullback in price for AXS. 34.2, 34.3 would kind of be the first target I keep my eye on. If it does manage to get around there, then I would jump back to the daily and I would start to keep my eye on these lower price targets of around 32. On the extreme end, we talked about $26. I really can't see that happening, but it is possible. This $29 range of its last high is also going to be a possible support that we can keep an eye on. But for the time being, I kind of keep my eye on the 4-hour chart and see if it pulls back to around $34. As far as a push up in price, you're going to want to see it get above $43, build support, and then from there it kind of is a possibility to push above $49 to $50 again. But AXS, I think it needs to cool off in terms of price action, but the stochastic RSI is low on the 4-hour, and if we jump to the 1-day, it's kind of high, so I'd look for it to consolidate and possibly pull back. So price targets for the time being, as far as the 4-hour chart goes, you want to keep an eye on this $34 price range. If it pulls back to there, I start to keep my eye on the $32 price range. But as far as a push up in price, you'd want to see it build support around $43, $44 and make a push for around $49 to $50 again. So price targets for the time being for AXS, $43 as a push up in price target, but a pullback, I keep my eye on $34 to $32. All right, folks, that's all for today. If there's any charts you want to look at in the future, leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn that bell on to catch notifications for all daily uploads. If you're not following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_ on Twitter. I'm extremely active on there. Anytime you tweet at me, I will always tweet back at you. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm out.